What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Zuki-M1 here, coming at you guys with a brand new YouTube video. Today we are going to be making a Brawlhalla tier list for the most current patch 5.01. But before we get into that, just a couple things to clear out. We are hosting a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, a big ass Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, with a cash prize of $50 for first place, $25 for second place, and $10 for third place. If you guys are interested, make sure to comment at the bottom of the video saying that you're interested in participating in the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. We'll also make a community post on the channel. We also made an announcement on the Discord for people who are interested. So we're trying to get as many people as interested as possible. The event will be happening on December 26th at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you guys are interested, do not worry about not being the most optimal or best player in Yu-Gi-Oh. There's going to be a bunch of newer players or people who hasn't played the game in quite a bit of time. It's not going to be meta decks. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun decks that people are going to be constructing and playing for fun. If you guys notice, I didn't go into the whole here are the most recent comments, because as you can see, I am cluttered with comments. You guys have been fantastic with this stuff. I've been posting so many comments as of recently, and I cannot express how grateful I am to have such an active community, stream and content wise. So thank you guys so much for taking time out of you guys' day to comment on these types of things. So that's all I really wanted to make an announcement for. I believe that's it. If I think of something else, I'll probably mention it in tomorrow's video. But as for now, that is it. Thank you guys. We're going to go ahead and get into the video. Hey guys, so it's your boy Zuki-M1 here. We're going to go ahead and get started with the tier list. Right off back, I don't want to say, I'm gonna say this right here. I don't personally think anybody is just complete ass cheeks, so we're gonna rename these to what I think is the most appropriate names for these. So easiest easier to use. Solid characters. Medium, mid-tier. Struggle, no, higher skill cap, and highest skill cap. So the reason why I renamed these is because I don't personally believe any of the characters in Brawlhalla is at a point where you cannot use these characters. It is just simply to determine which characters are easier to be successful with. So I made this personal tier list based on not only my personal opinion, so this is my opinion. You can hate on me for having an opinion in this video here, because this is my personal opinion. But these are the characters that I do believe are these are the characters I believe are the strongest. These are the characters I believe are the weakest, and not necessarily weak as in terms of like you can't play these characters, but weak as in it's going to be harder for you to win with that character. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I don't want to make this too long, so we're going to go ahead and get started with the first one, and you guys should probably pretty much know who that character is going to be. I'm putting Jae-young as the best character in the game right now, the easiest to use, the easiest to climb with. Why did I put Jae-young as the first character? Well, Great Sword. There you go. No, but no, in all seriousness, Great Sword is just such a fucking good item. I mean, it's so good right now. It's single-handedly dominating the professional scene, the rank landscape. It's just an abysmal of a weapon. And if you don't use it, you struggle against it. And that's not to say that the weapon can't be defeated. That's not saying that at all. More of the weapon, you have to do more to defeat this weapon than you would most other weapons in the game, right? So right now, I personally just believe that Jae-young is just the best of the two sword character, great sword characters. Following that, which transitions over to Mako. Mako, I believe, is the second best character in the game. Across all elos, both of these characters has maintained over a 50% win rate in a tremendously high pick rate, with Jae-young being the more popular of the two, with a 4% pick rate in diamond and all the way in all tiers around like 3.66% pick rate, which means that the character is picked at a tremendously high rate, the third most popular character in Brawlhalla right now, and he has over a 50% win rate. This character is strong. Argue with me all you want, but this character definitely gets results, and he is a very, 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 very strong character. Which leads me into my next pick. We're going to go ahead and toss Artemis into the mix. Now, some of you guys might not think that Artemis is probably one of the strongest characters in the game, but I have to beg to differ. Both her SIGs on both Scythe and Lance is probably some of the most solid SIGs in the entire game. She has good matchups across the board. She doesn't struggle against any type of particular weapon, and she just has an answer for pretty much everything. After they fixed her side stick on Lance, the character was just cannot do wrong in most people's eyes, and for good reason. She's a fucking great character, and if you're not using her already, I highly suggest you pick her up if you played Lance and or Scythe or both. Who knows? You know, she's good. don't sleep on her. And honestly, that's all I really want to put for like the most easiest to climb with. Now, granted, some people might get a little offended saying, oh, well, you know, Artemis is not that easy to use. I'm not saying that she's super easy. I'm saying that it would be easier to learn how to play with Artemis than it would be to play with like Mordax, Nyx, Fate, Jiro, or Volkov right now, because her SIGs are just really good. Volkov just received a nerf, and I really hurted him, because he would have been pretty high up there too, but that nerf to his neutral SIG on Scythe really did hurt him a lot, and you're starting to see less and less playing from him, just because his SIGs were outrageous. They were truly outrageous, but now they're okay, right? They're okay. So on to the rest of the list. I'm gonna go and put, this is pretty hard. First of the solid picks, I'm gonna go ahead and say it belongs to Cassidy. Right. Why did I pick Cassidy? Well, Hammer is in a tremendously good spot right now. If it wasn't for Greatsword, everybody would probably be crying about Hammer at the moment, right? They would be saying how unfair it is, how strong it is, how it's able to kill at really good, at really low percentages, and it's also able to gimp extremely well, and it just feels like it just feels unfair at times, to be honest. Has a lot of priority, has a lot of things to go for it. It's just really good. And I think that Cassidy is probably one of the better Hammer characters. I'm not saying she's the best Hammer character, but she's definitely one of the better Hammer characters. And I feel like she's definitely really solid at all elos. She maintains a 50% win rate, if not higher, across the board, from bronze, silver, gold, diamond, and plat, obviously, right? So I think she's in a really good spot. Probably one of the better of the solid picks. Granted, this is just my personal opinion. I'm not saying that I'm, you know, God or Jesus coming down from the heavens saying that this is absolute, but I think that Cassidy's in a really good spot and she's pretty solid. I think you can get a lot out of the character if you take time to learn how to use her. Next we got Jala / Finn. She's fucking nuts. She's fucking nuts, bro. Her SIGs are incredible. Her movement is way better than what it actually is. Like, she's only got 4 speed, but she feels fucking good. Like, her SIGs are incredible. She's on you like a fucking wild animal and just takes your stocks without no problem at all. That 7 damage just hits so fucking hard. And even if you take a hit off her dexterity and put it into her defense or her speed, she still fucking hurts. And her SIGs cover so much distance. She's such a good character. I mean, I just really cannot emphasize just how good Jala is. If you're not playing her, you definitely should give her a try. At least. I kind of struggle on this next one, but I want to say Asuri, Wusong, and Val. So I put those 3 up there because they're all pretty much in the same spectrum in terms of win rate, pick rate. They're all really solid picks. Nothing really bad about them per se. There's a lot of character specialists with these characters as well. So you'll see a lot of people who play a shit ton of these characters across all elos once again, and they just, sometimes they can be spammers, sometimes they can just be really smart with their moves and shit like that. You never really know what you get with these characters just because there's just such a mixed bag. And at one point in time, you feel like you got control over the match, and then another, you don't. You know, what are you gonna do? So then the next few bunch, we got Koji, Bolivar, and then our second Lance character of the thing, Ogrim, right? So Koji, Bolivar, Ogrim, they're incredible picks. Very controlling with the weapon palettes. We got sword, bow, we got hammer, sword, and we got axe, lance, right? These guys are just fucking insane. If you notice, most of the solid tier is dominated by sword characters because sword is just such a fucking good option. It's just good. Like, even after all the nerfs that it received, it's still such an incredible weapon. Honestly, it's just one of the most controlling weapons in the game, and that's no cap right there. Like, for real, I think a good sword can control any matchup at all. Bow, lance, great sword, doesn't matter. The sword will be able to beat it. It has a ton of priority, a ton of hit stun. It's just an incredible weapon. So Koji being one of the most picked characters in both professional play and throughout ranked and stuff like that. He's just really good. Bolivar, he's the Ryu of this game. Never a bad option to pick. Definitely somebody people shouldn't sleep on regularly. You should probably play him if you like hammer and sword, because both of those weapons are probably the most nuttiest it would be. And honestly, I would put Bolivar higher on this list, like somewhere where Asuri is, but he doesn't get picked that much just because I feel like a lot of people feel like he's boring or that he just doesn't offer enough. But whatever the case may be, he's here. He's still a solid character. Nevertheless, if you lose to a Bolivar, don't feel mad. Trust me, they're pretty cheap, to be honest. Not gonna lie, he's a pretty cheap character. He's pretty strong, offers a lot, and he is just good in both solo and 2v2 of rank play. So definitely play him if you haven't already. Ogrim, I don't really need to say much. He has too much hate around him. And they call him a wheelchair character, and for good reasons too. He's just fucking insane, honestly. There's really no reason for you not to play him if you play Lance. He's just nuts. Yeah, play Ogre if you want to climb. He's really good. But obviously you can climb easier with one of these three. But I guess if you don't want to get as much shit, you can play Ogre now without having to worry about getting harassed by people. Alright, so we got like 3 more picks for the solid, and then we're going to go into mid and higher skill cap, and then highest skill cap. So we're going to go Barraza, Azov, Ragnar. Right? So Barraza, this character's stats are fucking nuts. They let him get away with 7 damage and 8 defense. 7 damage and 8 defense. What? He's basically Queen Nai, like, except with better weapons. Well, that's debatable. Katara's did just get a buff, so I guess it's still in a good place. But like, you know, Nai's SIGs are kind of readable, but Barraza's isn't as readable, I guess, if that makes sense, right? Like when Nai goes for certain SIGs, it's kind of telegraphed, if that makes sense. Like there are times where you might not get called by her SIGs, but most of the time they're hella telegraphed. So yeah, like it's a lot harder to land her SIGs than it would be with Barraza. And Barraza has a neutral SIG that gimps, and that's fucking incredible, right? Same thing with Ragnar. Ragnar is really fucking good. Honestly, it's kind of hard for me to say which one is better between them. And that's why I put all 3 of the little axe boys over here, right? But do I say one is better than the other one? Not really. Everybody in the solid tier honestly could be interchangeable. Nobody in here is like set, right? Like you can literally change any one of these guys. They're all pretty much equal in terms of like getting some free elo off these characters and not really struggling and stuff like that. It's just, you know, pick your poison. Which one do you like more, right? You like axe blasters, axe bow, or axe katars, axe lance. I got 4 axes up here, 4 swords up here. There's, as you notice in axe swords, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. But yeah, no, these characters are all interchangeable. So this the solid list isn't like set in stone per se, right? They're all really good. So moving into mid tier here, because that will round out the solid list. We're gonna go ahead and go into mid tier, and the best mid tier will be Brynn. Now, why didn't I put Brynn into why didn't I put her into solid? Brynn has some very quirky SIGs. They're not bad, not at all, but it's hard to utilize at times. And she has a lot of combo SIGs, so you can combo a lot of her SIGs together and stuff like that, which makes up for the fact that they're pretty weird per se if you just do out the SIG by itself. But with that being said, her stats are okay at best, and her weapons are really good, but her SIGs are kind of the thing that makes me want to put her in mid tier. Now obviously this is just my personal opinion. you know, there's no right or wrong answer to this and stuff like that. And you guys can argue your points in the comments and things of that nature. But I feel like Brynn is a solid mid-tier character. She's not too crazy, and she's not too weak, right? She's right there in that sweet spot of being an effective character. And following that, we're gonna put Ember, Diana, and Taros as mid-tier as well. All of these characters, well, particularly Diana. Diana would have been a solid character, if not easier to climb with, if she didn't have received so many nerfs along the way. She was a meta-defining character, as you guys already had know at some point in time. So she was pretty much dominating the meta for quite a bit of time. And now she's eating a little bit of that humble pie. She's not weak, right? But she's not as strong as she used to be. So she's right there in that mid-tier where I believe that she is right where she needs to be. Right where she needs to be. So Diana, I think Diana and Brynn are both characters that could potentially be in a solid list. Yeah, but I feel like they're not too broken, they're not too weak, they're right there where they need to be, right? You don't mind losing to a Diana, a Ember, Diana, Ember, Brynn, but Taros makes people mad just because lower elo players who play Taros just spam, and if you lose to spam, it's a frustrating thing. But all of these characters right here in mid tier are pretty spammy for the most part in the first place, so you get mad if you lose to an Ember or Diana or Taros. Brynn down sig, shit like that or whatever. What are you gonna do, right? It's a part of the game. There's no cooldown on these sigs, so you can spam it as much as you like. But moving on, we're gonna go ahead and put Yumiko, Sidra, Zol, and Orion in here. So we put 4 characters in there. 2 Canic characters, 1 Hammer character, 1 Lance character. Why did I put Orion in mid tier instead of solid or easier to use, even though he has maintained a tremendously high play rate and a tremendously high win rate across all elos, right? Which is normally my thing to determine if a character is supposed to be high tier or low tier or not, right? Here's the thing. Orion is one of those characters that's either going to be fucking nuts or super fucking easy to predict, right? We've seen Orions a lot across all elos, right? And they don't really deviate too much from their scheme of utilizing their SIGs. So, and Orion is a perfect example of just wait till the SIG is up and then punish, because he has a decent amount of end lag on his SIGs. So when he goes for the side SIG, spot dodge, punish. If he goes for the neutral SIG on spear, like they spam that shit all day. Wait for the second one to land. You can wait for the second one to start activating and then immediately punish as he's doing the second one, right? There's just a lot of options to punish him for being bad. I mean, for doing dumb shit, right? Which is good. It's good. It's good that I am able to punish a person for doing dumb shit, right? You should not be able to get away with dumb shit. And I should be able to punish you for doing dumb shit. So I personally believe that he should be mid tier. He's not too good, he's not too broken, he's just right where he needs to be. Canon is in one of those positions where only Canon loyalists, and I hate to admit it, but I've gone back to Canon myself. Canon loyalists are the only people who effectively can use Canon, and Sidra and Zol are your best. Oh, wait, nope. That, I might as well. Yeah. So I'll explain that in a second. But yeah, Canon is in a weird position where it's just not that good. So only people who really use Canon are going to keep using Canon, right? Onyx is the best Canon, in my opinion. I don't think there's any canon character in the game right now that is fucking with Onyx at all, in the slightest. She's just the best, hands down. If you want to use canon, use Onyx, period. There's nothing else I can say about that. Yeah, so I ended up changing Bern and Diana's position. They're very solid. I think they deserve to be there. Because we still got a couple other more positions that characters that I feel like are in that range as well. I'm gonna add Scarlet here too, cause she's just annoying. Yeah, she's super annoying. That's it. That's all I gotta say about her. She's just annoying. But to round out mid tier, we're gonna put Thatch, Sentinel, Ada, Lord Vrax, Nash, and Thor. We're gonna put Petra up here, put Fate right here, put Raymond right here, put Kaya. What do I want to put Kaya? Yeah. Core right here. Yeah, this is perfect. Nope. Yeah. Okay, this is perfect. Okay, so because I just wanted to go ahead and just talk about these picks and stuff like that, so I put Scarlet, Petra, and Kaya in solid characters. I feel like these characters are the characters that you feel like you are winning in a game, and then from out of nowhere they win the game, right? You ever got to perfect example, right? And I'm pretty sure this happened to pretty much everybody in this video, where you'll be 2 stocks up on your opponent, so you got 3 stocks to their 1. You're in red on 3rd stock, so you're assuming that they're going to take that stock off you. But you're like, man, I got a whole 2 more stocks ahead of them. Then they pull off some weird shit and get your 2nd stock, and now you're down to 1 stock apiece. You're both bright red, and then they do 1 move and they defeat you and win. I feel like that happens a lot with Scarlet, Petra, and Kaya. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that happens a lot with those characters, and that's why I put them in the solid tier, just because they're just grounded characters that can just do stuff no matter what position you're in. They just make shit happen, and that's a good thing, right? You want characters, no matter what point in the game you feel like you can be a threat, you know what I mean? And that's not always the case with all these characters. So those are the reason why I put those there. I put Thatch, Sentinel, Ada, Lord Vrax, Nash, Thor, Fate, Rayman, Core, and Hattori, all in mid tier. These characters are just balanced. There's no other way to put it. They're just balanced. They're not as crazy as they used to be, right? And I can hear already, as I'm saying this comment, some people are going to be upset, saying, what? They're not balanced. Have you seen Thatch's down sig? Have you seen Sentinel sigs? And oh my god, Ada's side sig on blasters, and her neutral sig, and all Lord Vrax spam. Look, at some point in time in Elo, once you get higher than gold, get to higher end of plat, past 1700, you start seeing just how good these characters can be, and you start noticing that your sigs just can't carry you like that, right? Like, granted, you can be a spammer, but being a spammer will not make up what these characters have available. And that's why they're in mid tier, because at some point in time you just have to get good with the characters that you're playing. You can't just rely on their SIGs to carry you to diamond, because that's never going to happen, right? You have to have the skills to pay the bills with some of these characters, and the characters I put in mid tiers are the easiest ones in terms of using SIGs to get you to a certain point, but then having to really learn the characters ins and outs to be effective with that character, right? I can use cannon, but I can't use everybody's cannon. I can only use Zol's cannon, right? It's not because of his SIGs though, because if it was just off his SIGs, I would be using Isaiah, but I can't use blasters. So I'm at a point where I can't climb because I can't use any other weapon other than cannon, but I can't use any other cannon other than Zol because I can't use the secondary, or they SIGs just don't feel right to me, like Sidra's. I don't like Sidra's SIGs, even though I placed her higher than Zol, because in most situations Sidra is a better pick than Zol, right? But I personally can only effectively use Zol. That's why he's in mid tier, right? He's not bad, he's not good, he's effective, right? He can win games, especially if you know what you're doing with the character. And that's why most of these characters who are in mid tier because they are effective. And if you know what you're doing, you're going to win your games. And if you don't, then you're going to lose to like Jaehyun, Mako, or Artemis, right? Like, that's just going to happen. There's just no other way to put it. It's just going to happen. But moving on, we're going to go to the higher cap characters. I'm going to do this one real quick because I don't want to keep you guys here for too long. Alright, so we got Lucian, Mirage, Nyx, Mordex, Caspian, Cross, Vector, Queen Eye, and so Roland, right? So why are these guys here? Lucian received nerfs that just made him not as easy to use as he used to be. There's a point where Lucian was probably the strongest character in the game, hands down to a lot of people. But as he is right now, there's just so many better options to pick from. He hits like a pillow. He's fast as shit, so that makes up for it for a lot of people, but honestly, dexterity just don't mean shit to a lot of people. And in my personal book, speed don't mean that much to me anyway. But maybe it's because I'm just not that fast of a player. You know, I've only gotten to 1700 something elo. So, you know, it is what it is. But I personally believe that Lucian just requires a higher skill knowledge to effectively be used. He's not the best character in the game, and you just have to know more to do more with that character. Same thing with Mirage, Nyx, and Mordex, right? All three of those characters used to be higher tier characters, right? Solid by every means of the word. But Nyx received nerfs to her weapons that she used, both blasters and scythe. So it made her indirectly get nerfed because her weapons got nerfed. Mirage, her SIGs are kind of weird, but besides her SIGs, it's just, I don't know, people just find it easier to use like Artemis or Fate than Mirage, right? She's not a bad character by any means of the word, but again, she just requires a little bit more skill to get the same results that you're looking for. Mordex, if you've ever gone against a Mordex player, they're either cracked, right? They just do insane stuff that you've never seen before, or they just get their shit rocked. Simple as that. They just get their shit rocked. So yeah, I don't, it is either they're insanely good or they just really bad with the character. It's one of the two. It's never in between with Mordex. Same thing with Caspian. They're either insanely good and you've never seen a Caspian player like that, or they're the worst fucking player that you've ever gone against, and you sit there looking baffled because they're so bad with the character. Cross is good. It's just he just requires more to be able to be effective with him. He uses a very difficult weapon, blasters, and because of that, he has a little bit harder time to get up there. If you notice, there's a lot of blaster characters here, and the higher skill caps, right? And that's not by mistake. Blasters just requires a little bit more, especially if your SIGs can't make up the difference in your skill level with the blasters. Diana and Cassidy SIGs are just ridiculous, so that's why they're up there. But you know, in terms of like Lucian's or Cross, their SIGs are very reactable, so it's not as difficult to deal with. Vector is a very quirky pick. I feel like he's a very sleeper pick, but again, you have to know what you're doing with the character. Until people actually take the time to actually learn the character, he's gonna just keep being in the situation where people just doesn't understand how to deal with him, and a lot of people are just gonna get free ill off him. So just this is an editor's note, well, not editor's note, but you know, a content creator note. You want to pick somebody that people don't know how to fight against, pick fucking Vector. Just pick him and just spam SIGs. I normally don't recommend people to spam SIGs, but literally just spam SIGs with him. No one will know what the fuck you're doing, because you don't even know what the fuck you're doing at times, just because the SIGs all interact so weirdly. Like if you do your neutral SIG on the side of the map, it'll go up alongside the map, right? Your down SIG makes you bounce back forward and then come back forward with 3 bombs over the edge, which is a really good edge guarding tool. Your neutral SIG, side SIG, shit like that on bows are really good. Down SIGs hits on both ends. Like he's weird, but he's weird in a good way. But again, it requires a higher skill cap to be effectively used. Same thing with Queen Knight and Sir Roland. I'm also put Velkoff in there just because of the nerf. If he didn't have a nerf to some of his SIGs and some of his damage, he would definitely be either mid-tier or solid tier. But he's just not where he needs to be. The last of the higher cap is going to be Dusk. Dusk and Zarya. They're just But the highest skill cap characters, the ones that are going to require the most effective use, is no. So Linfei is the worst character in the game to me. Then Jiro, then Isaiah. Why? Well, these guys across the board struggle on every notion of the word. Still to this day, Isaiah's side SIG on blasters do not hit motherfuckers the way it's supposed to. The same thing with Linfei's side SIG on cannon. It'll just whiff right past you if you're too close. If you're at a certain range where you think it's supposed to be a sweet spot, you can whiff that too. Like, it doesn't make sense how the fuck this SIG is supposed to hit. Even if you go to the training room to see where the active frames are for that side SIG, you can still whiff it in the live game. So what the fuck was the point of trying to go to the training room to find out the exact length of where you're supposed to side SIG with it if it still sometimes misses, even though you swear to God it's supposed to hit? Jiro is where he is because he can't combo into any of his SIGs. Otherwise, he'll be mid-tier, if not solid tier, because he's fucking good in the right hands, but his SIGs can't be comboed into. So a lot of times you just use him for speed and dexterity. That's it, just speed and dexterity. But honestly, those aren't the most appealing stats right now. The most appealing stats are strength and speed, which is why Jae Yun is where he is, and why Artemis is up there, because she has 5 damage and 7 speed or 8 speed, depending on which stance you take. No, sorry, 7, 8, or 9 speed. You can reduce the speed, put it into defense, and make it 7. You can put you can take a hit from your dexterity to make your speed 9. So, you know, she's fast. She's fast as shit. But we're not talking about the high tier characters. We're talking about the low tier characters. And Jiro is one of those characters that if he was able to combo into his 6, he would probably be way higher on this list. But he's not. So he can't. Right? Yeah, I think that is everything about the list. That's all I have to say. I don't believe I have any final thoughts. I pretty much gave my opinion on everything throughout the course of the video. So yeah, that is all for you guys. That's all I have to say. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. But this has been Zukian1, and I hope you guys have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video.